which is, I mean, and this is a controversial thing to say, and I got in trouble, or one of my podcast guests, Gavin DeBecker, the security guru, got in trouble on my podcast talking about the primacy of intuition here. Like our intuitions are actually really good for detecting something that makes us uncomfortable about another person, right? And this becomes politically incorrect really fast, right? Because it's like, if you see a guy on an elevator who makes you uncomfortable, Gavin's advice, and I think the real sane advice is just don't get on. But there are many people who get on just because they want to prove they're not racist, right? Or they're not. It's like, and I actually know someone who was in a situation like that, and it didn't work out well. And so, intuition is bad for so many things. We have terrible intuitions for statistics and probability theory. And it's like we're whole careers and Nobel Prizes have been won on, people like Danny Kahneman have shown us how it's not only that our intuitions are bad for these judgments, but they're reliably bad, and we can understand there's a structure to how bad they are. But for judging people who are dangerous, who give us who make the hair stand up on the back of our neck for reasons we can't understand, for where the eye contact was wrong, or the way they were, just like what's called a witness check. Like someone comes up to you and engages you, and then they just kind of look to check for witnesses, right? Now, like people aren't aware that that's even a thing, right? But when that body language is very salient to us, and there are hundreds of things like that we immediately feel that prompt an intuitive response, and these are intuitions that are from a self-defense point of view are worth listening to, because like the worst case scenario is you wind up being a little rude there. Yeah. Like sorry, I'm not, I can't talk. But people are very dogmatically being kind of trained to ignore those kinds of intuitions. And
what do you think those intuitions are? Like, what do you think intuitions are? Like when you meet someone, you go, "Whoa, this person feels dangerous." Like, what is that? What's happening?
Well, there's a lot. The gaze detection is a big one. What people do with their eyes is a major variable in just how we feel that the relationship is going. But it's and there are micro expressions that we notice in people that we're not aware of noticing. But like it's just this is not well understood, and we're bad judges of whether someone is telling the truth. This has been fairly well studied. There are people who, even people who work for the FBI are not much better than chance in detecting whether somebody is lying. But we get so much information by body language and being in somebody's presence, and we get it so fast that it's again, and whether we understand it or not, there are evolutionary reasons why this is so. If we've evolved for anything as social primates, we have evolved to detect stuff that just is a precursor to violent intent in others, right?
Do you think it's just gaze, or do you think you can sense the energy of someone? There's certain movements that people make when they're thinking about hitting you.
Oh, yeah.
There's certain, there's a twitchiness to them, like a pulled back, like almost like a spring or a bow. There's like a feeling you get around people that are looking to hit people.
Yeah, well, but again, all of that's still vision, but there's, who knows? We're detecting pheromones. We could be detecting people's level of stress. Just how tuned up they are.
Yeah.
This goes beyond. This is beyond just physical violence. This is just detecting psychopaths who are who are manipulative. Just detecting. There are ways to spot people lying. They're tells, like too much information. Like the people who are giving you superfluous information as a kind of overcorrection, because they're anticipating that you're going to doubt their story, and so they're filling in like blanks that you don't even need filled in, right? And there's sort of patterns to that. But and again, we pick up on a lot of this stuff without consciously being aware of what's going on. We just know that that's like not a person I want to spend any more time with, right? But there may be more of a literature on this than I know about, but a lot of this is not well understood. And I mean, people like Paul Ekman have done a lot of stuff on micro expressions. That goes back probably 30 years at this point. And there are people who are outliers who are like great at detecting micro expressions, where they really just understand what's going on. But it's not. And AI eventually will be, if it isn't there already, will be much better than we are at doing this.
I'm so scared of that.
Yeah.
I'm so scared of them getting that wrong.
Yeah, right.
Micro expressions are funny because they remind me of microaggressions, which is one of the one of the weirder social justice warrior things, like things that used to be just slights, where someone was just like slightly rude.
Not even slights. Yeah. Just like, where do you come from?
Right.
It's
right.
like you're speaking with an accent. Like what's where
are you from?
Where are your parents from?
How dare you?